Welcome, dear friends. Here we are with another study of the Spiritist magazine. What a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. Every week, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are together studying one of the articles of the Spiritist magazine. May I remind you to visit spiritistmagazine.org to download the app, to order a physical copy of the magazine, to download the PDF version of the magazine. So many blessed ways for us to take advantage of the beautiful teachings that the magazine has to offer. Today, we'll be discussing one article titled Prodigies by the Spirit Humberto de Campos through Francisco Cândido Xavier, who is the medium. And this is from the latest issue of the Spiritist magazine, which is issue 67. And issue 67 is all dedicated about bringing Jesus back to Spiritism. The message of Christ is intertwined with us and our purpose as the disseminators of the promised consoler on the earth. Dear friends, this is what the magazine looks like if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're not, I am sharing my screen with the listeners at this moment and the viewers that shows how the PDF version of the magazine appears on my screen on my computer. On the left-hand side, you can see the many different thumbnails that you can easily navigate through to find the article you're looking for. We have also a couple of teasers for families. We have articles on this our Spiritist doctrine regarding Jesus, Spiritist conduct. We have articles on family planning, separation and abandonment, on the youth, and so much more. Joy and optimism. And here we are at the article study today is called Prodigies. Who is a prodigy, and how can a prodigy and all of us, how can we all contribute to the works of the good on the planet? So this is from the Spirit Humberto de Campos through the mediumship of Francisco Cândido Xavier. So we're deeply thankful for their presence in our lives. We hope that we can have their inspiration as we bring about these teachings. This article is a little bit longer than what we normally do, but not by much. So I will be doing more of an overview so that we can spend the time discussing how this teachings can apply to our lives. Yes, friends, it's all about application, studying and applying. This is from the book Luz Acima, and there's a whole playlist that our dear Vanessa Saloni has done at Kardec Radio. It is under the playlist 40 Nights with the Promised Consoler. The book is, this message can be found in the compilation book, No Roteiro de Jesus, and the playlist is 40 Nights of the Promised Consoler. The book is not yet in English, but it's been translated and discussed, and that's how we know the pearls and the first knowledge of these most important teachings in this English language come to you courtesy of the Spiritist magazine. So in this chapter of the book, we have Jesus, Andrew, which is Simon Peter's brother. And Andrew comes to the Lord to bring some friends, and the friends will discuss some of their talents and how they can apply these teachings to the works of the Jesus when he was incarnated on the earth. I remember Jesus had a ministry of about 3 years. He was crucified on the year 33, but he was about 38, 39 years of age by then because he was born before the year 0. A little bit miscalculation there in the history of time, but it's not, the details don't matter for us as much as we know that when Jesus was here, He was constantly working towards the good. So Jesus spent a lot of time on Peter's residence, and I'll read parts of the article for us to discuss. The message is, it is said that Andrew, the helpful disciple, observed the Lord in search of collaborators for the ministry of salvation. First pause. Do you know Jesus is in search of collaborators? And you ask me, but Shane, he is the Christ himself, the superior spirit that planned the earth. Why would he be searching for collaborators? You, dear friend, are right now being asked by Jesus to collaborate in disseminating the good news. How do we know that? This book is telling us that the Lord was in search of collaborators. So he's constantly calling us, and then it's up to us to open our minds to see how we can collaborate in his ministry of salvation. In the book Evolution into Worlds, there's a playlist on Kardec Radio where I participated as well. We have the description that we are collaborators, we're co-creators of God. Jesus is a co-creator in the greater plane, and we, you and I, are collaborators in the lesser plane. The book is by the Spirit André Luiz. Then Andrew is looking and seeing that Jesus asks, searching for collaborators, because we are here to fulfill the law of society. It's not the law of isolation, it's the law of society. So if Jesus needed collaborators, you and I need collaborators in the world. Then one day he came to Peter's residence. He was there. Jesus spent a lot of time on Peter's residence with 3 companions that were candidates for the divine fellowship, right? It's similar to one of us bringing our friends to the center and telling the spirit director or the physical director, say, I have this friend, they have this or that talent. So they were candidates. And then Jesus do the same thing we're going to do. If someone comes to us and say, I want to participate in your endeavor, Jesus received them with serenity and mildness, while the apostle introduced the novices and with naive enthusiasm. He was like, Jesus, look at this person. Look how great they are. And then Andrew says, Master, touching the oldest arm, this is Jacob, son of Eliakim, the gold pastor, who has wonderful visions of the occult. See, he is a medium, seeing the demons themselves scourging unclean men. When he visited Jerusalem last, he saw flames of celestial fire on the loaves of proposition, right? Those loaves of bread used at the temple. He also saw the spirits of glorious ancestors among the priests, astonishing the sublime revelations of the invisible. Imagine you go around and you see spirits, and you see the good spirits, spirits of glorious ancestors amongst the priests. Every place that is gathered in the name of the good in the universe has the presence of glorious people, spirits, ancestors that came before us and helped us. Before the expectation of the divine friend, the apprentice accentuated. He seems to be an excellent companion. Look, imagine if we had this medium who could see, clairvoyance. Jesus, however, what did he do? Rested his eyes on the candidate. He made an interrogative gesture to Jacob, who, sweetly embarrassed by his silent attitude, said, just like questioning him. Now it's Jacob, the proposed disciple, the one who can see the occult. Yes, it's true. I'm a seer, or what's in secret. I'm sorry, let me make it bigger for you. I'm a seer of what's in secret, and I tend to take lessons from the new school. He's like, I see, but I'm willing to learn. However, I fear public opinion. I work at Prisco Bithynius' house, the Roman chief. So it's a Jewish person working for the Roman chief. And I receive compensatory salary. If they know that I attend these ranks, they'll probably expel me. I will lose my earnings and my family may suffer from hunger. Right? So sometimes we have the talents. In this case, it's seeing mediumship. Sometimes it's a different. We say, you know what? Not ready to embrace. Imagine what would people know if they knew I spent my Sunday mornings going to the Spiritist Center. Can you see yourself as someone you know in this? However, I could do this, but I have this thing. People are gonna expel me. I'm gonna lose my way of being. I'm gonna. The list goes on. This is us. Great silence surrounded them. Did Jesus do? Jesus remained almost impassive. His sleep showed a slight smile that did not come out completely. So let's observe Jesus, question 625, guide and model. So if whatever Jesus did, we need to do. So when someone comes to you, I have the, and he listened with compassion, sweetness, and mildness. And then after the person finished, he just was there. It didn't faze him. However, Andrew was interested in placing his friends on the apostolic table, like almost they were interviewing for the position. So he recommended the second one, a middle-aged Jew who revealed in his gaze astute intelligence. Right, friends? Jesus and his apostles were Jewish, right? They weren't Christians, and not until Luke came and named them so. And for a long time, it was an integration of Jewish people who were following the Messiah, the Messianic Jews that we call them today. They exist. And also who? The Gentiles. This is you and I, if you're not Jewish, who followed the lineage of Paul and Saul, following him, spreading the good news, right? Well, let's remember, Jesus was a Jewish man following Jewish customs. People around him were Jewish as well. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to make it smaller. Let's see what kind of offering of talents this guy has. Lord, this is Menahem, the son of Adod, the goldsmith. Remember back then, people were known by who their parents were, in this case, the male parents, the father, and what they did, what professions they held. He has different ears from ours and is blessed with by miraculous dreams. So he hears voices from heaven announcing the future accurately, right? People these days would love for us to come to the Spiritist Center and we hear the spirits and we give them advice, what's going to happen. During sleep, he receives astonished warnings. That's a very common type of mediumship in the first revelation, the Torah and the prophets, right? The Tanakh. Because, remember, many of the characters on the Bible received messages when they were asleep through dreams. Through these means, he has already discovered the jewels of Pompey Fabrina when distinguished Romans visit Caesarea. Countless are the cases where he functioned as a victorious soothsayer. When he passed by Jerusalem, he was called by illustrious priests who successfully tested these strange faculties. He read ancient papyrus and he transmitted authentic messages from the great deceased of the race. So he was a speaking medium and a hearing medium, right? And dreaming. So maybe we know someone who has those faculties. Maybe if you don't, you still have your intuition. You receive messages from the beyond all the time, even if we don't recognize them. Now this is Andrew introduced, and now the candidate's gonna say. Andrew says, wouldn't he be a valuable contributor to us? Christ fixed a lucid look on the introduced man, and then Menahem explained, now the medium himself. Yes, I really do hear voices from heaven, and I solve my dreams various problems about which I'm consulted. So people came to him, right? We see a lot of that on the books of André Louis, of his romances. There were oracles and seers. Today would call them psychics, sometimes mediums, those who receive payment, right? A lot of people come to us in the Spiritist and they say, can you talk to the spirits and let me know how to do X, Y, and Z? Sometimes we wish the spirits would just tell us, right? I wish I could participate in the new faith. He wants to participate, but God honors us, however. I'm bound to many commitments. We hear that all the time. The story is from Jesus' time. I would love to participate, but I have commitments. What are these commitments? Work, activities, self care, enjoyment, experiences, experiences, experiences. That's the modern age commitment. Oh, I cannot come to the center because I have to travel. I cannot because my child has swimming, because I want to go do X, Y, and Z. So he says, my father in law, Ephraim, the merchant of perfume, is rich. So he comes from a wealthy family. And is about to rest with those who have descended to rest, meaning he's about to discarnate. I'm the heir of his great fortune. Of course, the fortune doesn't go to his wife, it goes to him, but that's the custom of the time. We have to understand the context where Jesus spoke and lived, so we understand the passages, right? I am heir of his great fortune, and I know that he will be scandalized by my adherence to the renewing belief. Thus, considering I must be cautious, I cannot lose the great legacy. How many people say I cannot be a spiritist, I cannot translate, I cannot do a message, I cannot, because I need to work, I bought a bigger house, I want a promotion, and then we're seeking physical rewards. Identify the strangeness that it caused, he hastened to reinforce. So he's explaining. Even if I could get rid of such a precious good, I would have to take care of my wife and children. Right? We say that all the time. Oh, but I can't. I have to take them to the playground yet again, one more Sunday, a little party, a little activity, to the museum, to the trips, because we only live once and they're never going to be this young anymore. Instead of bringing them here to study, we take them elsewhere. And when life comes to show us the difficulties, the spiritual values are not there to see the base, and then we see youngsters of this generation, our generation, anxiety, depression, suicide on the rise because they don't have the solid touchstone of community, of religion, religare, right? Which is to get together, to intricately come together as a community, and to sacrifice and discipline, because it takes discipline. And life is not about us. So we need to learn from the young age how to deal with that. New silence waited on the domestic landscape where we are. Peter's house, Jesus is receiving Andrew and his three friends, or friend number 2. In front of the Messiah, so Jesus has been the Lord, Jesus has been the Christ, and now he's the Messiah. This is how the apostles and Humberto de Campos is describing Christ, who did not manifest in a direct sense. The diligent fisherman introduced the third friend. So Jesus stays silent and left the third person, third interviewee. Master, here we have Moab, the son of Joshua, the cultivator. He is a prodigy in the scriptures. He knows everything about the scriptures. Which scriptures, friend? The Torah, the Tanakh, the Torah and the prophets, right? Jesus, first, what we used to call Old Testament. All the scribes look upon him envious and spiteful. When you have a talent, people might look at you envious and spiteful. Since, because the scribes made their living scribing, copying, not everyone could read and write, could write and read, right? So there was specialized in copying, because also paper was, the skin of the animals or paper from papyrus was expensive, so it was an art form. Look upon him envious, since he is known for the gift of writing with incredible ease. So he was like psychographing, pretty much, concerning all matters of interest to the chosen people, to the people of Israel. Important men of Israel formulates to him several enigmas referring to the law of the prophets, and he solves them with absolute triumph. Sometimes he even writes in foreign languages. Some say that on him hovers the spirit of Jehovah. So he was psychographing and answering, right? Spirits were using his talents to write, and which they do to us as well. The apostle was silent. In a heavy atmosphere that settled in the room, the miraculous scribe, oops, Happened? What happened? Said, now third candidate. Moab is talking. Actually, I write in mysterious circumstances. A fire-like light descends from the firmament on my hands, and I filled in huge scrolls of instructions and descriptions that I myself cannot understand. Who also had that, friends? Our blessed Chico Xavier, the medium who psychographed the message I'm reading together with you. I propose to follow the principles of the celestial kingdom here in Galilee. So he's like, I would like to serve. But, however, again, I cannot commit myself too much. I can do a little bit. I'll come Sunday at the Spiritist Center. I'll surf, get my passes, and go home. Maybe I'll write a message. Maybe I'll donate. By the way, do, because Spiritist centers have costs. How many times have we said this? Oh, I want to do it, but I can only come Sunday, but not Saturday, not this day. We've heard it all, right? Or we've said it all. In the holy city, I'm connected to a great revolutionary who promised me a high political commission soon after assassinating the prosecutor and eliminating some influential patricians. So this guy, poor thing, got himself attached to the bellicose forces of the earth. How many people today are selling their soul over political parties and political people? And just listen, we are here in the US and the political season, regardless of who you're going to vote for. Be careful not to do what this is, which someone you vote for someone, you attach someone to something with the promise of gaining, which is not what politics should be all about. But this gentleman who is a psychographic medium. I want to take advantage of my faculties in the restoration of our rights. So he thinks he's going to use the mediumistic writings to restore the rights of the people of Israel who are what? Under the oppression, under the command, or under the guidance and rule of the Roman Empire, right? After being under the guidance and command and oppression of many other tribes and kingdoms throughout the crescent sun area, right? So we have to look at in context of the peoples of Israel have been, the Jewish people have been under the command of other for a long time. I will conquer position, gold, fame, evidence. Therefore, I cannot accept very extensive duties. It's like, okay, I'll do a little bit for you, but what does this person want? Position, gold, fame, and evidence. At least he was more honest, right? The other ones were like, I'm doing this because of that. My friends, my family, people, I worry about people are gonna talk about me. The other one was like, use the family and the riches of the family to excuse. At least this one said, it wants position, gold, fame, and evidence. Be preeminent, right? So at least this one was honest. Stillness returned. So everybody's like, oh, what is Jesus gonna say, friends? However, Andrew, who brought in the candidates, was anxious to situate the new members in the Galilean school, so he asked Christ. So naive, right? Master, now he's master. Aren't you looking for associates for the redeeming service? Will you admit our friends? So they were interviewing to become part of the Jesus apostle. Okay, I'm going to make a pause to ask this to ourselves. How many times have we positioned ourselves in face of Jesus and said, Jesus, I'm here. These are the talents that I have. This is what I can offer. But I have X, Y, and Z I need to worry about. We need to sacrifice. That's the message here. Have we truly talked to Jesus as if he was the loving brother or sister that we have, right? Spirits don't have gender and sex like we do. He is the spiritual governor of the planet. He's asking the 8 billion incarnates, you and I. Plus, there's more than 8 billion now. And the many, many more, 2 to 3 times more discarnate friends. Come with me. What do you have? What talent do you have, friend? Have you been to the Spiritist Center, to the synagogue, to the church, to whatever, and said, I know how to do X, Y, and Z, but my family, my work, I can only do a little bit? Or are we saying yes to the opportunity as they arrive? What are we offering? And are we listening to the call from Christ? So let's see what Jesus says. Jesus, however, clarified with complacent serenity. Remember, Jesus did not say a thing. He did not say, you hypocrites. He was just listening. How many times can we remain calm? No, Andrew, may your brothers proceed in peace. It's like, go with God. For now, this is Jesus' words. Their goal is different from ours. Dear friend, is our goal different from Jesus' goal or the works of the Christ goals? The first person stagnated in profitable situation, was worried about what people are going to think and he's going to lose his job. The second awaits inheritance in gold, silver, and stones. He said, if my father-in-law who is about to die finds this, he's going to inherit me. And by the way, I could get rid of it, but I have to support my family. The third one remains hunting for the ephemeral glory of human power. So this is us. It's tough, right? It needs to be tough. We can't anymore just be reading for the sake of reading. We have to ask, am I seeking profitable situations and having that as an excuse? Or I'm awaiting inheritance in gold and using my family as an excuse for not serving? Or do I want power? A lot of people in the Spiritist movement want power. Thank God it's not a religion. There's no priests. There's nobody in Rome saying you can or can't do, right? Lord, Peter said Peter's brother. That's Andrew, Simon Peter's brother. But we must remember that one of them sees, another hears, and the last one writes miraculously. So they're mediums. Are you a medium? What are you doing with a mediumship? Because mediumship, friends, is not just reading, writing, and hearing, seeing. We are all mediums, said who? Allan Kardec in the book Medium, the Medium's book. If you don't have ostensive mediumship, you don't see, hear, write, you have intuitive mediumship, right? Subliminal mediumship. Meaning, as you speak, the spirit mentors are there. If we calm ourselves, are serene, and we work in the good, they will whisper and say, why don't you say this? We don't even need to know they are there. They're so loving that they allow us to take credit for what we think it comes from us. When we are writing a post on social media, when we're sharing this, when we're liking, subscribing, is the Spirit saying, share this, it might help someone else. When we are working at home, when we're taking care of things at home, the spirits whisper to us. The good ones and the not so good ones. When we are doing work at work, imagine what would happen if we just stopped and prayed and breathed, meditated, that our work can serve the common good, not just me, mine, my profession, my house, my this, right? So Jesus finishes the interview and says, yes, the world will always have human prodigies, bearers of marvelous gifts that spoil them inadvertently. So what gifts do you have that are being spoiled right now? And don't feel offended, because I have them too. If we are still in the world of trials and expiations and we're not waking up tomorrow in Jupiter, we have gifts that we are spoiling. We're spoiling time, resources, opportunities for service. We all have done it. It's not about feeling guilty and going to confess somewhere. It's about facing the reality. In question 919, if you don't meditate on yourself, know thyself, and do the process of knowing what I already have to offer and what am I working towards, I can't use my gifts properly. However, above them, I'm looking for those who wish to work to fulfill our Father's will. This is Jesus' words. Let's work to fulfill Father's will. So that means it's more about the common good, what we have to offer, than what am I doing, how am I doing. So if I'm in a place, it's because God allowed you to be there. So is God taking you there? Why there, not elsewhere? Why this location, not that location? Why this person, not that person? Why this job, not that job? So it's God's will for us. What is it? What am I? What am I doing? So are we working? Are we listening? Jesus is looking for those who wish to work to fulfill our Father's will. This is Jesus talking to you and I today. As I mentioned, there's a whole playlist called 40 Nights of the Promised Consoler at Kardec Radio. Dear friends, I hope that you can be bearers of marvelous gifts, and then you can use them and not spoil time, not forget of the preciousness of this reincarnation, of the preciousness of knowing of Spiritism, because many religions don't know any of these. So that you and I can work together, bringing the gifts that we have in order to enrich the life of others, the common good. The law of the society, the law is not of the individual. Jesus came with a group, Jesus served, he's our guide and he's our model, therefore we serve as well. Dear friends, what a blessing to be with you. God willing, I'll be back with you next week with another Spiritist magazine program. Until then, stay well, stay safe, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.